Have you been distressed or perplexed? Emasculated. A book written by Edward Fields IV. Everything that needs to be known about men in modern time. Listen, men are not complex. They are misunderstood and unappreciated. Learn what men really feel, think, and desire. Also observe their struggle for acceptance, love, and belonging. A must read for every man in this classic book by Edward Fields IV. Emasculated. Go get your copy now.
It's not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Nah, I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. I knew you lost your mind when you dropped that bomb. Girl, are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lie like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's you. Say whatever and I would never hear. You've been flexing everywhere. Girl, look in the mirror. Man, you so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lying like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's you. If I control the weather, then every day would rain on your parade. Shine, you can't share it, yeah. If I was Father Time, then I would change the day. So I never saw your face. What do I have to do to make you go? Oh, baby, it's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. Walk out that door, no, yeah.
All right, guys, we're about to get into it in a minute. 18 minutes after the hour, 10 o'clock. We'll have a good show. Guys, the link has been dropped. Can you turn a 304 into a wife? This is a compliment stage that we will be gathering and hear what different people are talking about. Can you turn a 304 into a wife? That's the question. As a response to just Pearly Things and
they tried to count me out. I'ma go count me in.
Brittany Renner.
On my bank account. Now I got something to spend.
Stay tuned.
They tried to count me out. I'ma go count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just pull it out and count for nothing when I'm feeling great. Give my baby little more just to spend it, and I'm always on go. I don't hesitate. Used to always know I make it, yeah. I'll be me until I'm in the grave, yeah. See my record, had to set it straight, yeah. I make to kill like 10 times 10. I got wires coming in. Some in euros, some in sec. Some in dollars, some in yen. I've been trying to keep my zen. Keep my cool. Trying to keep the family fed. Get my food. They tried to count me out. I'ma go count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend. They tried to count me out. I'ma go count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend. Did it, do it. I did it all, no gimmicks. I did it all, no fibbits. Now I got all these children. Now I got all these clones. Now I got all you twinning. Now I got all you thinking like all you in it. They tried to count me out. They tried to fill that doubt. They tried to ride my wig. They tried to knock me out. They tried to count my wins. They tried to show my L's. They tried to make me in. They tried, but where they now? Where they? Step in the spot and they stare at me. All of these battles will bear me. I swear that nothing compares to me. Feeling blessed. I won't stress. Beat the odds. You know the rest. They tried to count me out. I'ma go count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend. They tried to count me out. I'ma go count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend.
Trying to count some of you men out on tonight, but you're not going to be counted out because we're going to have a good discussion as a segue to the show that we had earlier. And I'm got joining me, my man Chris Strongheart in the house. Chris Strongheart is in the house. Chris, unmute yourself, brother. Chris Strongheart, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Chris.
You can hear me?
I hear you, man. Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Just checking. Yeah, man.
All right, so guys, the link has been dropped. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about should only virgins get wife benefits? Should only virgins get wife benefits? Because there are many of a 304 that expect to get the benefits of a traditional woman and a wife. But should only virgins get all bills paid? And if a woman is not a virgin, should she get at least the majority of her bills paid, but not 100%? Chris, what do you think about this conversation, man? The whole Brittany Renner fiasco. I've always believed, Chris, you need to prorate it, man. And virgin Chris needs to be prorated, man. You know, and that's the way I feel about it. I know we live in the world where it's hard to find, but I don't think a man should be paying full price, especially Chris, of a man that's being judged based on how much money that he makes. Because if you can judge a man based on his money, then he should be able to judge you based on the bodies. So go ahead, brother. What's your take on it? And let's talk about it.
Well, yeah, man. I agree with you, man. You definitely shouldn't be looking to pay full price. You know what I'm saying, for something that's definitely used up like that. I mean, in the case of Brittany Renner, she knows what time it is. You know what I mean? She knows that she's up against it. Up against what we call the wall. Expecting men to pay full price for her is delusional. I mean, because even when she was in front of Pearl, it wasn't like some people say she was admitting to stuff. Kind of not really. I mean, she hasn't learned anything. To me, she's still like a bad student, and I don't even understand why she wants to join forces with Pearl. Like, I don't get that. I think she's trying to ride Pearl's coattails because everybody can see the growth of Pearl right now.
Right.
And I think Brittany Renner is just looking for somebody to keep her famous. Because to be honest, there's nothing else that anybody really needs to discuss with a Brittany Renner. So you definitely shouldn't be looking to and expect to be paying all these different things like top dollar. Essentially what we would say is for the price of someone who is putting themselves out there to be that type of female. Like, why am I going to sit here and be expected to be all these things to you where lesser men have done more with you? And even when Pearl brought that point up to her, all she could say is, "Oh, well, I'm just not going to go after those men." So basically, she wants a reliable beta. Basically a man who's not going to stand on his purpose, a man who's not going to stand on his principles, and a man who's just going to allow somebody like a Brittany Renner to slide around and do whatever she wants to do. Basically, she wants a man that she can control for the most part. But we see that a mile away. Men who are know better and who have better standards and principles are not going to be settling for no chick like that. She will be a side chick, just like she says she is at best, and that's all she's going to get.
Yeah, what I find troubling, Chris, is that a lot of women now are judging men, saying that if you make $75,000, it's not enough. Which we know, $75,000 is a good salary, especially living in a different part of America. A lot of women are saying that if a man don't meet certain metrics, then he's not adequate. And I don't have a problem with that. If a woman wants to say, I want certain things in a man, that's that woman's right. I don't have a problem with a woman saying that. My only point of contention is you better make sure you can back up what you're asking for. But because if you got 50 plus bodies or you've been rammed by a bunch of men, you can't expect a man to come in and talk about paying all bills. I'm not paying all bills for something that multiple men have had. And you heard how disgusting what Brittany Renner was saying. Men spitting in her mouth, doing all kinds of stuff, using her orifice for whatever reasons. And but yeah, they want you to pay full price. Sweet little bit, how you doing? It's been a minute since I've seen you. How would you like to add to the conversation there? What's going on?
Hi, Kosha. Hi, Chris.
How you doing, sweetie? What's going
on? It's been a difficult week, I think, for men. The Tory Lanez, I think, for me has really hit me hard.
Right. Talk about it.
Facts.
From the outside, looking in, you're really wondering if there's a place for our men, because that's where the war is at. As I said, from the outside looking in, that's where the war is at for me. And I understand now, maybe better, the stance that people like Chris and yourself have taken in terms of what is this thing, guys? Being a passport bro.
Right. Passport. That's right.
And traveling out of the country, because Black women really don't understand the war that is being waged, and it's not against masculinity, but for me, it's specifically Black masculinity. Our men have been dying for a very, very long time, and our men have been incarcerated for a very, very long time. Post-slavery, the prison industrial system, and it's still taking our men. And I don't know, just what happened with Tory Lanez. I thought he was gonna get out. I was getting ready to celebrate. We were making tacos, and I'm defeated. Just everything was canceled today, and this is where our men are.
Right. Well, and I'm not shocked with them. That's why I tell men to do what's best for them. That's why I tell men to have standards. That's why I tell men to set boundaries that are clear and consistent with their worldview. Because women do it all the time. They say what they want, and I don't have a problem with the woman saying what she wants in a man. The woman got a right to say what kind of man she wants. My only point of contention is make sure you're able to back it up. You see, you're from South Africa, in your culture, especially the horsing culture, it's very normal for women to be virgins before they get married. I remember when you was on the lead attorney, that's where I found out about you talking about that. And being a virgin is very important in some of those cultures. And we know that a woman can't be a virgin. I mean, we know all women are not virgins, and though it's hard to find. But if you're not a virgin, then you should at least have little bodies. But the point is, Lulu, these women expect men to pay full price for something they gave to other men for free. That's a problem, in my opinion. What's your take on that?
So Brittany Renner, Amber Rose, Black China, your so-called Instagram hoes, your famous 304s. What women don't understand is you can't sleep with a man and come out unscathed. And these women, you can't blame men for this sexual liberation that you asked for.
Right.
In the same breath, she's talking about sex being about spiritual unification. She's talking about all these men that she slept with that didn't value her. But these men didn't come looking for you. You went looking for them. So you're blaming men for the choices that you are making. You're blaming men for... Black women have been sexualizing themselves. Men didn't have to do anything. Black men are not asking us to go on Instagram and twerk. I mean, music. Guys, I don't know, is it just me, or I feel like there's so many female rappers coming out of nowhere, and they're not even rapping. They're just naked, and they're just demeaning men and talking about receiving oral sex from men. I'm like, what? I don't understand what's happening. But I saw no accountability, and which is what modern women. I saw no accountability from Brittany Renner. She lied. I just saw lies. And like I said again, today for me, I think I am coming around to understanding where Chris and people like Chris and, like I said, the passport bro, where you guys, there is no place for you here. And we don't understand. I have no idea what you guys are going through.
Right. And go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just speaking of what she said, is that, black men is black men. We realize we have no allies, and we're not under any false aspersions. They go into these different countries, it's going to be this utopia where everyone is just going to worship us. That's not the case at all. And the people who make these type of claims have no idea and understand of why it is we do what we do and we say what we say, because there is nothing to fight for here. There's nothing to build with here. And like she's referencing Tory Lanez, I literally just did my live on that exact topic here about maybe an hour ago. I just dropped my opinions on Tory Lanez, and it goes home even more, drives that point home even further about brothers do need to be getting their passport and understanding their options, because this shows you case in point example. Even if we want to look over here, Brittany Renner did not apologize and take accountability for anything that she may have done, anything that Pearl was speaking to her about, because Pearl was essentially speaking to her on red pill facts. Pearl was giving her the red pill perspective, and obviously Brittany Renner would probably relate more to a Pearl versus general red pill, type content creator, because Pearl can say things that other content creators that are men in the red pill space, Pearl can say things to women that otherwise would be taken as hostility if a man were to say it. Therefore, she was saying it to Brittany, and you were still she was still responding in the way that would say she's not getting it. And my thing is, I would even be careful of Brittany Renner talking about how she wants to ally herself with Pearl all of a sudden. I'm like, I wouldn't do that, because she's not looking to change herself or anything like that. She's looking to continue to be who she is, but now rise up off of your audience. She's not looking to come in and be humble and be a part of what Pearl has going. She's looking to see how she can leech off of that and possibly be a part of something and twist it in kind of the way that she wants to twist it. But yeah, Lulu Bean is correct. You know what I'm saying? It's, this is why Passport Bros talk the way we do. You know what I'm saying? It's when you see across this country of how nothing is in your favor, black man. For these, certain people who want to come across these channels and try to tell you that you need to stay here and build and you need to sacrifice and do all this stuff. Brothers are realizing their options and who they are. Brothers are realizing their value. You don't have to fight and die in this country and get no reward for it. What is your reward for fighting and dying for a female that is, when it comes down to it, would hang you out to dry in the court of law? Because that's why I don't rock with the metrics and the standards. It's all cap. You need to be 6 feet. You need to be 6 figures in the bank. You know what I mean? You need to hit all these metrics in order to be the type of man that they dream about. But even if you are that man, and this also lets you know that height don't matter, because Tory Lanez wasn't a big, tall dude. He had the clout, he had the status, he had the money, and he was still messing with Meg and her friend. And still, we see when it come down to it, how they treat one of their kings. I said it on my live. This is one of the guys that they put up. This is one of their kings. Okay. This is the one. Those are the type of guys that the average black woman would say they want you to be more like. But look what happens even when it comes down to court of law. Where were the black women who were supporting Tory Lanez? Where was all the outrage saying that Tory Lanez is telling the truth? He ain't done nothing. Meg this, but they still are out here dancing in the streets, acting like they have won something because Meg Thee Stallion is getting off and Tory Lanez is going down for protecting black women. The very thing that they say that they want the most is, oh, we want to be protected. Tory Lanez hopped out the car to stop Meg from getting shot because Kelsey was finna end it. Kelsey got back in the whip to get the gun to go at Meg, and Tory got out to say, we ain't doing that. You going too far. But look what happens. Meg says she gonna blame Tory, and then Kelsey at first was blaming Tory, but then she said, I ain't trying to have nothing to do with this. And this is your reward, black man, which is why we tell you, you need to understand your value and your options, and you need to make better moves. You need to get overseas, figure it out, do something, do whatever you got to do. And also another point, I don't like when people say everybody ain't gonna make it or you can't afford to get overseas. I'll tell you something. You could be making $30,000 a year. It don't matter. It don't cost that much to get your passport. It don't cost that much to get to the DR or whatever, or even Colombia. You only 3 hours away from Colombia, from Florida? I don't want to hear that everybody ain't gonna make it. No, most people are lazy. That's what that is. Or you don't understand, or you don't feel that motivated to go out there because you're lazy. You can make it happen. You can make it happen. You can travel. You're just being lazy. So I don't like to hear that point either from people. It's very annoying.
Yeah, and I think you're right. We're not saying this is utopian. Guys, do me a favor, get these likes up. Share this stream, please. I don't know if YouTube got me on timeout, but I got one strike. So, but in the meantime, guys, share the stream, get the likes up. If you have not donated to the channel on this Christmas Eve, please donate to the channel. But the question or the topic of discussion is, can you turn the 304 into a housewife? This was a response from Brittany Renner and just Pearly Things. This is a call-in. I want to ask you a question, Lulu, being dealing with Chris. Entitlement appears to be at an all-time high. Lulu, you came from South Africa. Do you see the level of entitlement in your country that you see here in America? And if so, tell me how or why.
So I think, like most women and where I come from, is you understand that a man is tied to lifestyle. You're looking for a man to provide and protect. With the advent of Instagram and South Africa being exposed to Instagram, what's happening now is all the girls are seeing the fascination with having big boobs and having a big ass. And now that's sort of starting to sort of filter. You're seeing girls sort of dressing differently, but the thing is, they always come up against the culture. So it's one thing for you to dress a certain way on the internet, but try walking down the street, you won't get very far. So you still have I want to say it's protection. I guess they'll say it's cultural obstruction. You get what I'm trying to say? So the internet, you can see it does have an effect, but it's not really translating, I guess, into the real world, because there still stops, you still have your elders there, you still have culture there. But things change. I mean, Andrew Tate was saying on Piers Morgan, what is toxic masculinity? Whenever when you thought of a man, you thought of protection, you thought of provision, and people would say, "Dad, it was a norm." Now it's turned into something. What is toxic masculinity? It's a made up word.
No, I totally agree, and it appears to be getting worse. I'm sad in the current world that we live in. Chris, you being a millennial, man, what are some of the struggles that you have and see, man, when you see all this foolishness, but more or less the issues associated with Tory Lanez being a millennial?
What issues do I see with it? Well, this is a bad precedent for those who are looking for Black relations as far as the community and culture is concerned. This is going to set back, a lot of things that people had hope in. The gender war is tearing whatever's left of this so-called community apart. I mean, I'm not one of the types who are preaching hope anyway. But if you had any hope, I don't know how much hope you have now. If you can't clearly see the writing that's on the wall, I mean, you can try to hide your head in the sand and hide up under a rug all you want, but at this point, you can see that something is not right. A lot of people are trying to say this is some type of conspiracy, whatever. But the problem is that you have too many females, too many women, Black women especially, who are championing the outcome of this trial and basically saying Tory got what he deserved and things of this nature. This is a win for them and stuff like this. And it's hard to say that our country promotes this behavior in our women. But there's a lot of evidence that points to there is something bigger going on that wants this type of behavior to continue and champions it, even in the court of law. So we already know the law is not on our side. But now when we talk about the relations between Black men and Black women, we've said it before, it's almost like we're different races at some points. Like I said, we don't think the same. We're off on religion. We're off on moral bases. We're off when it comes to the family courts. There are so many things that divide. We don't vote the same. There are so many things that divide the house of what would be the Black man and Black woman. It's like you almost would be better off dating interculturally. If you just have to have a Black woman, okay, fine. America, and this is one thing I don't understand with people. As Americans, as Black Americans, we're 14%. They say, of this whole entire United States, 14% is who we are. Now then, if you wanted to go to the Caribbean or even Central Mexico and everything below that, there are way more Black and brown, or just even Black if that's what you want. The further you go south. But you're told that you have to stay here and deal with this because this is where you're from. This is all you'll be. This is all you ever want to be. Okay. The problem that we get into and the problem that we face when it comes to the dynamics between Black men and Black women, Black men are constantly being judged for what they haven't done. Right. And one of the biggest issues in the community is that Black women are constantly trying to shame Black men into being better. That's never good enough. Okay. But when you actually slow things down and look at it, you'll try to see that the majority of Black women, they just want a seat of power. This is all about power. And their idea, this is what we call the myth of white womanhood. They want to be next to what they call the image or the power, the assumed power that the white woman has is essentially what the Black woman feels like she's entitled to, the majority of them. So this is where we get these issues where they're constantly projecting things onto the Black man for what he hasn't done. Oh, you haven't stopped white supremacy. That white man still got his boot on your neck. You haven't done enough. You haven't this, you haven't that. Whereas Pablo can come over the border with his wife and they both ain't got nothing and they can go sell fruit in California on the street, and she's more loyal to him than anybody who will ever come. Will tear them apart.
Right.
We don't get that. We don't get that.
Talking about that last, we were actually talking about that last week. You're right, and not only that, Chris, they have a high level of being virtuous. You know, black men have been so browbeaten and beaten down so bad, Chris, that we just take anything. We don't ask for fair exchange. I'm sure you see it all the time, but saying what you were saying about the issue that you're saying. And guys, for the 15 that are watching, do me a favor, share this stream. If you have not donated to this channel, please donate. And if you have not, if you'd like to join the conversation, It's Chris, Lulu Bean, and I talk about should only virgins get all bills paid? A response to just Pearly Things and Brittany Renner. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, yeah, man. I was just saying how hard it is if you're the type of person that feels like you want to stay and build some type of Wakanda in this country. I would beg you to understand that you're already conquered. You're not going to build an empire within an empire. Okay, you are exactly where you are. You're not about to build some utopia. You're not about to build a Wakanda. You're not about to change the perspective of the majority of these females. It's not happening. They already have decided, and they already have voted that they want to keep upholding the images of their goddesses, the Meg Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's, and I'm even throwing Beyonce on a little bit of that, because that's what they uphold. That's what they want to be. Now, as black men, you're in a position where you have to make a decision. You know, you have to look at it like, so what am I going to do? Are you going to sit here and fight and die for something to where you don't even know what kind of rewards you're going to get? Nobody's promising loyalty. The social contract has been broken. Whatever it was, it has been broken, because we understand the history of these things, how feminism was indoctrinated or it got pushed onto our women because they decided that they wanted to rock with white women back in the 60s. All right. So many things changed back then because their cry is that, oh, well, y'all were, y'all had grandma chained to the stove and all this other stuff. That never existed. There never was a point in time where black men had black women under this supposed patriarchy.
Right.
That was never the case.
Right.
But of course, they want to,
right.
Yeah, they want to follow white women into feminism,
right,
and now complain about the results.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? As black men, I say black women, they made their decision. They voted way back then. And I say now we have our time. Now that we're in the age of the internet and we understand how things are, I say that as black men, you should be voting as to understanding what your best interests are and your best options are, mm-hmm. and go forth, mm-hmm. and be great in whatever direction you feel is the best is for you to go. Let no one shame you. Let no one stop you, wherever it is.
You know, Chris, what do you, well, I asked Lulu. Lulu, you know, you're from South Africa once again, and I don't know how liberal policies are impacting you guys where you're at. But in general, what can a man expect to get, Lulu Bean, from South Africa, maybe your tribe or your part or your vicinity, if he pays all the bills? What can that man get? Because maybe I'm wrong, but what can a man get if he pays all the bills from a traditional woman in South Africa?
I would say wherever you decide to go as a man, don't lead with money, because if you're offering money, that's exactly what you'll get. You'll get yourself like Brittany Renner. You'll get yourself a glorified prostitute. A woman knows how or to look at a man and know that a man can provide. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So you don't have to lead. I mean, it's like breathing. You get what I'm trying to say? You're going to, as long as you are a man in the full sense of the word, that you believe in your capabilities, that you stand by your philosophies as a man and your truth, whatever that is as a man, the rest will follow. But don't lead with money, because you know it's
right.
a given.
Right. I agree with that, Lulu. I guess my point is, based on traditionalism, Not that you're leading with that, but if a man is dealing with a woman in your country, she was raised in tradition. Not saying that man, this it goes back to what Chris was saying earlier, the average guy, the average hard working class man in South Africa. We're not talking about the bourgeoisie. We're not talking about that. But my point is this man said, I'm going to make this woman my wife. I'm going to take care of all the expense. I'm going to pay for everything. My point of contention is you have women that are former 304s, but they expect to get all bills paid. I don't think that should happen. I think she'll get a percentage of it paid because you can't tell me nowhere in this world where a person pays full price for something that's been open. Nobody can do that. So my point is, I know you were talking about the horsing culture, and they have dowries, and men pay a dowry for virgins. So here in America, you got women that are subpar, and they expect the man to pay all bills. I'm not saying the man shouldn't pay a large percentage of them based on her lifestyle and her past, but just like women judge men, Lulu, being on their past, on their future, as it relates to how much money he can make, men have a right to judge her based on her past if he found that value system important to him. That's my point of contention. Go ahead, there.
Yeah, no. So like I said, that side, in terms of body and looks, um, yeah, I think you'll get what you want. Everybody and their mama has a butt, and I know you guys like that. So your
Yes.
head is going to hurt from turning every size, every you can imagine, is is down there. Um, yeah, it's when you land, you're not going to have a cultural shock. Everybody speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, girls are still pretty traditional, but like Chris said, it's not a utopia. Open your eyes. Um, I really feel like I'm gonna call somebody who's American and ask them to call you in, because I really want it from a male perspective in terms of what it's like to be down there as a man. I think I'm biased.
Right. I get, yeah. So, Chris, you understand where I'm coming from more. But I see where you're coming from, Lulu. But my point is, if women are constantly judging men for their money, their height, their status, women have metrics and qualities on what they want in a man. I don't have a problem with it. They might not get what they want, but a woman got a right to say what she wants. She might not get it. So why can't a man come and see? Men have been so conditioned to accept women for who they are in this country. They accept the fact she got kids by other men. They accept the fact that she's been had a promiscuous past. They accept all the negative things in women, but women never accept that in a man. And so when men say this is what I want in a woman, then it's a problem. Well, I'm saying there are countries that men can go to, sweet Lulu Bean, where they can get, those women are not perfect. But my point is they can get a woman of a higher quality and a higher gradient. And that man can more or less demand what he wants in that woman. He can tell that woman, if you've been with a lot of men, you just don't qualify, or I pay a large majority of the bills, but I'm not paying all of the bills. And the reason why I say that, Lulu, because where I'm from, my mom was a virgin. My grandma was one too. I know the times are different. I get all that. I'm not saying the woman got to be a virgin per se, but there was a time when women were virgins, and virgins carried a higher premium than women that are not, because that was a fair exchange. You take care of all the bills, you take care of everything, and I give you my chastity, being wife ready, and being traditional in return. But nowadays, men don't even get a modicum of what men had 40, 50, 60 years ago. That's my point.
If you in essay, if you get a man that's a man and wants to take care of you, you'll get a woman, for the most part, kosher, that is loyal.
So, what is the probability, Lulu, in your opinion, if he don't find a virgin, he can find a woman that hasn't had a lot of men before he got with her? We know that there are virgins in South Africa. We understand that you can find them, correct? Hello?
Sorry, kosher, can you say that again? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I said we know that a man can find virgins in South Africa. Is that correct? They have dowries, and men can
So
find
your
virgins.
dowry, yeah. So your
Mhm.
dowry is, but if your dowry is affected by, is she a virgin? Um, I told you about, let's say a woman has a child out of wedlock.
Mhm.
It's called damages.
Right, it's
So
called damages, right?
So if a woman has a child and you want to marry her, that's also affected by it. Educational status. There's a lot of factors that take into account. But if a woman is a virgin, then the dowry is higher. Yes.
All right, right, and that's my point. Do you see where I'm going at? That's my point. Women that are virgins, women that are wife ready, and women that don't have kids have a higher premium than those that don't. That's my point. So if that's the case, then how can women that have less than what those women have expect a man to pay all the bills and treat them like those women? Do you get where I'm going at?
I do, and I think this movement and like Chris said, and this just hit me so hard what he said when he said that we as Black women, we've broken the social contract. So, and women like Brittany Renner, the Amber Roses, like Chris said, this feminism, I'm going to call it, since if they can come up with toxic masculinity, then there should be toxic femininity. Like Chris said, if you're now reaping the results of all those choices, and you want to come again and blame men for all the choices that you made. Nobody asked you to go out there and do what you did.
Right.
So the effects are you, Kosha, traveling and speaking to men and saying, get yourself a passport, go out there. The effects are Chris, Kosha, deciding that and coming to the understanding that, look, what we're dying out here, we're being incarcerated out here, and this fairy tale support that Black women speak about. I mean, I don't see them marching. I don't see them being as loud as they are in terms of the support that they have for the Beyoncés, like Chris said, or for these guys have groups. What's the Beyonce is the Beehive? I don't know what. Nicki Minaj has the Bobs, but I mean, their fans are so big that they're movements in themselves. I have yet to see a movement where we are just strictly focused on what is happening to Black men. I have yet, and like I said, Black men for what? Since slavery, you guys have been dying.
Right.
In a multitude of ways, you guys have been dying. We're not dying in the rates that Black men are dying. We're so used to hearing a rapper died. It's not. People don't even. How many rappers have died, guys? This this year
at least
alone. And then you
4.
find out that these record labels still make money from the death of these Black men. That the government makes money from weed is now almost legalized. You're going to be able to get it at the store, but you're not having any of those men who are incarcerated being freed. So like I said, I don't know. They keep finding ways, I feel, to shackle and destroy our men. And we as Black women, our voices are nowhere. And you guys are making the only decision that you can, which is get a passport and go find women. I think Black women are going to wake up in this country when it's too late.
Right. And the level of vitriol and the level of disdain is appalling, to say the least. Men can't say what they want anymore without being judged, or people saying, who hates you or whatever. Your mom is Black or whatever. A man can't say anything. He can't say anything. He can't speak his mind. Anything he does say is held on the mirror of scrutiny. And I think you begin to see more men than less beginning to, not only start demanding what they want, but also you've seen a lot of men that are beginning to check out. And we've been seeing men here lately take a lot of L's. We've seen the level of vitriol from some of our women, how they have a level of disdain for our men. And men are taking notes, and as they're taking notes, many are deciding with their feet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, they say, there's a saying that, for as long as you're fighting, at least you're talking. And I think Black men now are starting to talk to each other. There's no point in having the conversations, I feel, anymore. These platforms should just be designed to speak to young men, and to speak to I especially young men. You know, I've met quite a few who when I say that they are lost, you know. And Kevin Samuels, I mean, he's already told us that the plight of Black boys is evidenced. We raise these single mothers, we raise these boys. We've created the situation. So, like I said, from mothers to sisters, we've let our boys down. We've let our men down. We have
Right.
let you down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have really, really let you down. And I like I said, I think just Tory Lanez he just brought it home for me. I didn't understand how bad it was, and I guess now I understand.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate once again, Gail, to say the least. It's very unfortunate, and like I say, a lot of guys are beginning just to see things for what it is. They're beginning to turn inward and start focusing on themselves and start looking for women that can honor and respect them. Chris, I know you're very pragmatic in your dating choices with women. Um, what are your standards, Chris, as a young man, when it comes down to women? What is your standard? What won't you tolerate? What will you tolerate? Like, you might not say she got to be a virgin, but if you could get a virgin, Chris, that was wife ready and treated you like a man, would that make you feel? How would that make you feel as a man if you could get that?
In terms of a virgin, I wouldn't expect it. If it
Yeah,
happened,
got it.
you know,
Right.
it'd
But
be
for everything you wanted, she was pretty, she was smart, she was intelligent. You know, you say you went to Brazil or any country, and she was all of those things, but she was very funny. She was cultured. She could understand you. She had all the things. She checked out all the boxes, but she happened to be a virgin too. That's my point.
yeah. I mean, that would obviously be a great deal. Um, it does come with its risks. I mean, there are some risks involved as far as if she really was a virgin. You know, there would be some risk involved as far as her feeling like she never got to experience life, her feeling like she wants to
True.
try out new things
Right.
and
Right.
stuff
Right.
like
Yes,
this,
sir. I agree with that. Right.
because we don't live in the 40s and 50s. This is the
Yes, sir.
internet age.
Yes,
So
sir. I agree.
everybody has access to everything that exists
Mhm.
as far as
Right.
knowledge.
Right. Right. Right.
So, you know, that would be a risk. But as far as standards I would have is um I like to say I don't force women into anything. I give them options and I let them select, because I'll say I will not um I have things that I will not allow, and it's not me forcing you. So it's like I will not accept a girl who feels like she needs to go on girls trips. I
Right.
will not accept a woman who feels like she needs to disrespect me in public. I will not accept a woman who will not take care of her body and not take care of herself. I don't give a damn if you had two kids. Get your ass in the gym. I will not accept a woman who feels like she's better than men. I will not accept a woman who feels like, it's her place, what I mean, to treat me like a child, and she needs to try to come in and be my second mother, things of that nature. It's there are it would be easy to say I don't accept high body counts. I don't ideally want to deal with someone who has high body counts in a thought type of mentality, because this is the thing. This is why I say I don't venture off into asking, because they're going to lie. First off, they're going to lie, especially if it's a metric. They're taught to lie. Now, the thing about it is
Right. Right.
this:
Right.
you
Right. Well,
don't
watch
really
this,
have
Chris.
to.
Counterbalance it, and I know it might sound draconian, but I think a person can counterbalance a Chris, and here's why. If that's your stand, okay, so this say Chris was a virgin. Say Chris Stronghold was a virgin. Chris is an engineer. He make, because 33% of men are virgins. And you're right, Chris, they are going to lie. So how do you counterbalance that? Well, it's simple. It sounds very draconian, but make her take comprehensive lie detector tests. Make her take them. Make her take at least 3 by high-end polygraphs. People say, well, that's extreme. No, it's not. If that's your value, and especially if you were one, then a man got the right to say you're gonna make that metric, and you're gonna take these exams by different people. Make her pay for one if she's really invested in being with you. Especially, Chris, if you're a high-end engineer making 6 figures or more, then you should have a right to tell that woman, if you're gonna be my woman, like you said, Chris, you know they're gonna lie. Make her take 3 cross examinations by 3 different high-end polygraphers. She can't fail damn 3 tests. You ain't gonna fail 3. So you a man need to know that that's his value system, and you need to tell them to ask all questions. Because watch this, Chris. As I said before earlier, she's going to judge your future. She's going to judge you based on how much money you can make. She's going to judge you based on your ability to lead. She's going to judge you based on provision and protection. Why can't you judge her based on her past? Because chastity was what a lot of men look for in women in the past. Do you see my point? You got the right to judge that. Go ahead,
Now,
I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with that. Now, my only thing, the only caveat I would have to it though is just to say that I personally am more looking to judge her by her behavior.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's one thing you can't lie about.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, you maybe you're not, maybe you haven't had a bunch of bodies, but if you have very high promiscuous tendencies, and every time we go out somewhere, we out and about, and I'm trying to take you to a function, we're hanging out, or I'm bringing you around a group of friends, and next thing you know, you being real smiley and touchy feely with somebody I know, or we go out in public and you just want to be the Miss Star of the show, and you got to be heard, you got to be seen, everybody got to talk to you, and it's just like your star has to shine the brightest everywhere we go, and that's going to be a problem, because that type of tendency means I'm used to getting a lot of attention from men, i.e., I'm used to having a lot of male company. Therefore, it will be easy to deduce that this is the type of female that is used to using her feminine power to harness that energy and use it to her advantage. So that's one of the bigger ways when you can read her and you can be like, what is this about? It's easy to understand and start to see. And then the rumors will start to come in about, yeah, man, where there's smoke, there's fire. It doesn't even have to be that she was really doing stuff. But check this out. Say you work at a company, say a certain female, which I don't recommend dating women that you work with, but say there's a certain female that you got your eyes on at the company. Maybe she's in a different office, and say you're interested, but all these rumors are circulating about her. You don't know if they're true or not. You hear the rumors from your boys, and then you get around her and see that she does have a very flirty nature with guys. Now, second, you talk to her and you say, hey, you know, all these rumors go around about you. Like, are you really? No, those guys are just lying. Da-da-da's mad. Da-da-da-da-da-da. All the excuses, right? But why is it that if you will say, okay, I will accept her and all her rumors, but this is, like I said, this is the caveat. But now every time you go somewhere, you have this pit in your stomach. Like, I can't trust her because she has shown me that she demonstrates that flirty nature. Even though she says she's not into such and such, I internally cannot trust her to leave her or let her go to a certain place because I don't trust this female. When women show qualities that they cannot be trusted, men, that is a red flag. You need to get the hell away, or do not treat this woman as though she is a wife type, because women who know how to and are trained to be wives will not leave you with that doubt, will not leave you with that feeling in your chest. Like, I think maybe I can't leave her here because she is too handsy feely. And the too many times she especially if she's a type to drink and don't know how to control her alcohol, that's a big red flag. Right. Because especially if she's a party girl, big red flag. How? Because that type of behavior, men in our ego, we think we can end it if we give her, quote unquote, a marriage or whatever. We think that, she'll calm down if I marry her. Let me tell you something. Wiser men have made the same mistake, and they have paid the same price. They have paid the same price in child support because they realized that this was not the type of woman that they thought she was. Oh, I can trust her because she wouldn't do that. She would never do that to me. Oh, me? Man, and your ego, you will do not make this mistake of thinking that you are God's gift to men, and you will bring this woman to heal when before you meet her, she was already showing you she was a party girl. She liked to have fun, and she has male friends, a lot of male friends. Okay, big red flags that men who don't know better need to understand. That right there are the catalyst to things that will lead a man, even if it's true or not. It doesn't matter if it's true. Perception is reality. Do you feel internally like this is not the girl I can trust around my homeboys?
Right.
So the only thing leading you to hold on to her is your ego, and you want to try to bring her to heel and make it feel like, oh, I own her. She ain't going nowhere. When you're in a real good relationship, you don't have to have that pull of, oh, I'm forcing her and I'm going to make her do this and she's going to stay right here. No, because a female who's ready to be with you is going to make it easy. She's not going to leave you with all them doubts. She'll let you go through her phone. She's going to be right by your side. She's not going to want to go to Jamaica with her homegirls on a girls trip talking about, oh, we going out. And you just insecure. Like
I
I'm
agree with
dumb.
that. I agree with
Like I
that.
don't know
Yes,
what
sir.
goes down in Jamaica.
I agree with that. Yes, sir. I agree with that. Right. I agree with you 1,000% because part of a woman's protection is protecting her man's ego. And I'm gonna do a show on that, Chris. You were talking about being insecure. It's gonna be titled "He's Controlling," and I'm gonna talk about why men should have healthy control in a relationship. Shout out to my man Tim Howard for that $5 super sticker. I appreciate it, Tim Howard. Thank you, sir. He said, "Merry Christmas to Kosher Chris Strongheart and Lulu Bean." And it's such a pleasure to have sweet Lulu Bean back in the house. Glad to hear from that sister. I call her the voice of reason because it's hard to find women like her that are reasonable, women that can think outside of themselves, women that see the greater importance of masculinity. You know, Gregory Scotland said, he said that Coach Angerman found an article where a dude pointed out that it is hate speech by black men because they pointed out the travesty of the Tory Lanez verdict. What's your take on that, Lulu, sweetie? What's your take on that? It's hate speech because men had their own opinions, and that's socialism 101, man. I
Yeah,
won't be
it's
surprised if they start shutting these streams down and these platforms where masculine men begin to speak out because you begin to see it all too often where the voice of reason is being silenced. But go ahead, dear.
yeah, it's the truth is labeled hate speech. Joe Budden was silenced after saying he didn't like Meg The Stallion.
Mhm.
DJ Academics, they came after him when he tried to point out the inconsistencies. Yeah, I do think, Kosha, these platforms, and I've been trying to say this, these platforms, you guys need to now start having conventions where you meet physically.
Right. Hmm.
You guys need to start having options where if they shut you down, we can go elsewhere because
Right.
cancel culture is real. So
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
gonna have to think of ways, but the only way is you guys have to learn to partner up. You guys have to learn to become an organization.
Hmm.
Now it's really good. You're going to have to, I feel like, become formalized.
Right. Right.
You guys have to start clubs. You know how you have biker clubs, have traveling clubs. Yo, let's all go to
We do.
Chris Hart's. Let's go to Colombia. Hey guys, I'm taking 10 people to. Let's go to Ghana. Hey guys, I'm taking 10 people. Let's go to Barbados. Whatever it is, where you guys. I wanted to ask you something, Chris.
Yeah.
Um, if you, this is, I don't know. We're having a conversation with my husband, and I was saying, just your opinion since you've traveled. I was saying that I don't think it is a good idea if you meet a woman overseas to bring her to America. I'm not saying she shouldn't meet your family or anything like that, but keep it short. My experience is this place is like secondhand smoke. I don't think this is a place where you meet somebody and then you bring them. I also think it increases, and I don't want to sound paranoid, but I think it also might increase, a person wanting you just for a green card. But is there a reason to meet somebody overseas and bring them back to the States?
In regards to brothers traveling and going out there, this is one of the things we talk about when we tell men that don't go over or don't start traveling looking for some 90-day fiance nonsense. You're just going to go drop down in the country for 2 weeks, pluck one, and bring her back to the States. That's a recipe for disaster, and that's one of the things that our naysayers and our detractors will constantly try to tell us that we're not wary of, and those are the things that we need to be worried about. First of all, men who make those decisions like that are foolish. They haven't learned anything. They don't understand the cause of why we're traveling, i.e., they don't have an issue with the culture here in America. They don't understand the problems here in America, i.e., they're traveling for the wrong reasons. So, when it comes to traveling and going to get a wife, first off, you want to, if you're think about this, a wife, meaning a union of families, meaning this is about to be your family in regards, right? This is about to be a family that you are going to tie your wagons to and create a union, create an empire. That you should be invested in that country and her culture. That's a big problem. If you're going and you're just saying, I'm just going to grab one and bring her back to America, that is not ideal. You want to go to her country, study her culture, learn her language. I'll tell you this. If you don't have plans on living in that country, don't marry that woman. If you don't have plans on being in that country for an extended period of time, do not go there and marry her, because all you're doing, subconsciously or consciously, is trying to turn her into an exotic American girl. That's all you're doing. Which all that's going to do is raise her status, raise her options with guys who are in the States. Guys who cannot leave are now going to have access to this exotic girl that you done brought to the States. Now it's even going to be worse. And then her homegirls and her friends are going to tell her all she can do and all this and that. All da, da, da. You're just going to turn her into another American thought, really. So that's shooting yourself in the foot. We do not advocate and we do not tell men to do that. If you are not invested, see, this is the difference between passport pookies and brothers who are traveling with purpose. First of all, you're on your purpose, meaning you want to speak the language. You want to learn the culture. This is a place you would consider living for a period of time. If you just need to travel to just go ahead and get it out of your system at certain places, then do that. This is why I tell brothers who go places, have your heart in the right place. Meaning, what are you looking for? If you're looking to have fun, do your thing, go do that. But if you're looking to get a wife, you need to move a little bit differently. You need to be trying to assimilate yourself more to their culture, their ways, their standards, meaning you want to get to know everyone. You want to get to know that place, get to know those people. That is the key difference. So, like I said, if you want to bring her back, that's something that if you want to start doing that, it would be on vacation basis, bringing her back to the States for one. Y'all will come through, visit, yada, yada, but maybe a couple weeks, boom, you're back out. Okay. It would be more so of a temporary type of thing if you really wanted to do it that way. And you would want to date this because remember, we're talking about marriage. That's a long shot. You should have established a lot of things if we're talking about marriage, meaning y'all should be dating, fiance, courting, all this other stuff. And in that time, you would have been visiting and going back and forth and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But ideally, understand, why did you leave America just to go get a girl and make her American? Think about raising your children in that country. Think about being in that country. That or those would be the type of things. And then the whole wife part of it will kind of come naturally. Okay. So that is the bigger part of making sure you're traveling for the right reasons. If you're looking for a wife, those would be the metrics. You'd want to stay there. You would want to make sure that this is somebody that you're seriously trying to rock with. You would want to know her family, her cousins, and all this. And also staying in that country. So yeah, after y'all have been dating for a while, for real, because we're talking about marriage, so it should be this way. After y'all have been dating for a while, then maybe have some trips to the States and stuff like this. But you would never lead with, and this is one thing, you would never want to lead with your money or lead with I'm from America, because all she's going to do is say, oh, look, a meal ticket.
Right.
Oh,
Right. You don't lead with your money. Right. I agree. You definitely don't lead with your money. Can you turn a 304 into a housewife, Sweet Lulu Bean? Is that possible? Can a woman be, can a 304 be turned into a housewife? And to the 23 that are watching, guys, who have not donated to the channel, please donate to the channel. Hit the like button, hit the Cash App. As we're having a conversation about Brittany Renner, this is a live call-in. Can you turn a 304 into a housewife? A response to the conversation with just Pearly Things. But in the meantime, guys, go hit that like button because the robot just told me the bills got to get paid, and there's a power outage here in North Carolina. So, guys, go hit that like button because the robot has been talking to me for the longest. And hit the like button. All right, Sweet Lulu Bean, can you turn a 304 into a housewife? Is it possible, based on the conversation that you heard with Just Pearly Things and Brittany Renner? Is it possible?
All a woman will bring you is, and like all you need to do is look at again your Brittany Renners and your Amber Roses. They're bringing trauma and all their negative experiences, and it's self-imposed trauma. It's got nothing to. Trauma. It's not the fault of any of those men.
Right.
And yeah, and it's a person who's got a predatory nature. They're going to bring immaturity. You're going to be dealing with a whole lot of mental issues that have nothing to do with you. Brittany cannot be rehabilitated. I mean, she's not even she's not even accepting the reality of her choices. So no, I don't think no, there's you cannot turn a 304 into a housewife.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. And you made a very good point when you were saying about their traumas, because as soon as they get bored, they're going to be tempted to run out of that relationship or deal with other men, not with men's with a Z. They're going to be tempted to deal with other men's with a Z because they're bored by that man. And then on top of that as well, because some of them have been so imprinted, it's going to be hard for them to be satisfied with only one man. We see it over and over again how there's been an attack on masculinity, and it appears to be happening over and over again. And sadly, a large portion of our women tend to more or less be adding to the dysfunction and the trauma of those said women. Where do you see us going at, Sweet Little Bing? We know that socialism destroyed a lot of countries. I've spoken with people from foreign countries, and they say they're beginning to see it here in America. But when you think about how the women are turning on their men, the families are so destroyed and broken up, where do you see this thing going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Prayerfully, more Chris's, more coaches, coming to the continent, building businesses, and having children in the continent, leaving. I think America has lost her sons, and hopefully that becomes Africa's gain. And I know that this is not going to go very far. I know I am so sorry, guys. I am so sorry for the pain that we as Black women have caused you, the single mothers, the trauma that we have as girlfriends, as wives, as bystanders. We failed you as women, and I am so sorry.
Well, we appreciate it, sister. Thank you for your candor and kindness. It's really hard to find people that advocate and speak up for righteous black men that are not causing the chaos by a small percentage or a small few. Shout out to my man Passport OG for that $2 super sticker, 320 super sticker. He said, "Kill Greenhouse somebody who thinks that they are empowered." And I totally agree with you 1,000%. Chris, before we end the stream in a few minutes, I want a few more people, but it appears a lot of people are coming up. I know it's Christmas Eve. Supposed to get ready for Christmas on tomorrow. But can you take a 304, Chris, and turn her into a wife, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, off the top, I do want to say actually shout out to Angry Man for the research and the work he was doing on this whole case with the Tory Lanez situation. Mm-hmm. The brother came in clutch. He was dropping information and knowledge, putting it together before a lot of people did, and then stuff was coming out. He was saying so. Shout out to Angry Man.
Killing it, man.
Yeah, big shout out to Angry Man, one of the OGs of the Black Manosphere. Can you turn a 304 into a housewife? I mean, no. I mean, definitely not. I mean, because it's like it's almost like, it's weird to say it this way, but you could say in a sense they've seen too much. What I'm trying to say that is that they've lived a lifestyle that has not led them down the path of securing one man for an extended period of time, meaning that they're used to being with different men. They're used to being with a bunch of different men. They're not used to being with one man. So as soon as things get too hot in the kitchen, her modus operandi is to get out. What I'm saying? So she's ready to, if she can't get her way, she's ready to go out there and make her way, meaning she's not going to be ready to be under the authority of any man. Mm-hmm. And even that man that she will give some grace to, it's still going to come with stipulations. Mm-hmm. Tory Lanez, you know what I'm saying? It's still going to come with stipulations. It's still going to come with, well, you supposed to treat me like this, and I'm supposed to have this, and Brittany Renner, these are the examples. You know what I'm saying? Brittany Renner didn't take back anything. She didn't act like she learned anything.
Right.
From all the stuff that, that she was saying and everything that she was doing. And Sweet Lulu Bean is right. You know what I'm saying? She's saying the exact right thing. She was definitely saying that, America has lost her sons, in a sense. And a lot of brothers will probably wind up going to different places, Africa especially. I've heard a lot of good reports about South Africa, from the brothers who have traveled out there. I've heard very glowing reports about South Africa in general. I heard this. I heard brothers are very well received. It's very good opportunities for brothers to build. Um, I've heard glowing reports. So I definitely see now that the whole passport movement is catching fire,
Yes.
even more so because of there are so many things that are pointing men to go that way, because it's almost like we're left with not very other many options,
Right.
especially
Right.
if you're not into dating out. Okay, then what are you gonna do, so it's either fight and die or go for your best option. I choose to go for my best option. It just I don't see, because this is the thing when people try to, a lot of the pro blacks and all these others will try to fight for it, and you're just like, what are you fighting for? What is the end result? What is the reward? And
Right.
how long is it going to take? As a businessman, I say what you're saying. This is not a good return on investment. This is not. I'm not going to get good back on my ROI. This doesn't make sense. The numbers don't. The math don't math. You're
Mhm.
trying to tell me that I need to stay here and deal with Keisha and all her problems and all her issues and all her kids and all the baby daddies attached to them kids to get what result?
Mhm.
I mean, a box that's been kicked all around UPS and
Mhm.
I'm supposed to keep it?
Mhm.
No, I'm good. Why don't I go get something that's fresher, less trauma, has a different perspective, was raised to be a wife, or at least is more traditional, values me, respects my authority. I don't have to fight, because black men think that they have to fight in order to get what it is that they say they want, until they go to a place to where they realize that fight is an illusion. You go to these different countries and these women will just come to you. Not saying that you're just going to be this Drake walking around, but I'm saying that when you go to different places, you'll see that the energy that you get is different. You get a different
Right.
energy. Women
Right.
respond to you differently. And it's, first off, you're a man. Second off, you're an American man. Second off, you're a black American man. Okay. And that comes with different connotations, because black men don't usually travel, which is why it's so big to call a group Black Man Travels or Black Man's Options. This is why it's such a big deal, and why this small percentage of numbers of brothers out of the small percentage of the 14% of those of us who are in America, when we do travel, that's why it's such a big deal. The world is yours. You can go wherever it is that you feel that you need to go with no shame. Like, if you want to go into Europe, bruh, go forth and be fruitful. No one is here to judge you. Okay. The only thing that's going to judge you is what you were told you could and could not be. And that came from the echo chamber that was the so-called community that you're supposed to fight and die for, but also be judged by, held accountable to, when you are not fighting and slaving for the reward of broken black women.
Right. Right. Yeah. And sadly, Chris, it's a lot of broken ones. You made a good point about trying to heal damage and broken women. That's why I tell men they gotta love themselves, man, and not put their career, their livelihoods at the feet of women that only see you as a commodity. I'm gonna ask you a question, Lulu Bean. Can a 304 live, and can she have a life in South Africa? What happens to 304s in South Africa, sweet Lulu Bean? Do they end up alone? And we're gonna end the stream in a minute if no one else come up.
You're gonna end up alone, or you're going to end up having to pick a very, very weak man who you're going to be unhappy with. Um, you either pay the devil on the front end or the back end, but you're going to pay.
Going to
Men
pay.
men aren't stupid. Men are not stupid. Men know their worth, and yeah. So men men are not going to accept low standards. They don't, because they don't have to.
Right. Don't
And
have
I
to.
think
Right.
men are come. Another thing, Chris, that and Coach, that I wanted to say is also traveling out, Chris, and going to these countries. I think the added benefit is also, before this culture reaches those countries, they would have you as witnesses. You know what I mean? You'd have to be voices. I think a show like this is needed in South Africa, in these so-called developing countries. Now you're seeing, I mean, they're calling all these African leaders and having African summits. And they're going into these countries. I just had a friend of mine come back from Nigeria, and he was telling me about all the whites that are down there
Mm.
and doing business. And they don't tell you how many whites You know, Zimbabwe is made to seem like there's no white people there, but when you go to Zimbabwe, the plane is full of white people. You can count the black people. So you're asking yourself if Africa is a, you know, as Trump said, a brown country, and I don't have any issues with Trump. I think he did better, but anyway, that's another conversation. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of opportunities, and white people are down there. I had a friend who was in Nigeria, and he was saying you should see all these white men with these beautiful black women that we don't even have access to. So that would be another thing, is going down there into those countries and setting up platforms like this so that they understand what's at stake.
Interesting. Chris, closing comments, man. We're gonna end the stream, man. I'm about to take it in for the Christmas holiday on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sweet little being. Once again, dear, it's a pleasure to have you in. Blessings to you and your family. Pray that all is well with your health and all is well with your family. But Chris, where do we go from here, Chris? Because people always talk about solutions, Chris, and they'll beat you over the head. They say, well, you know, they're always running women down, but they never talk about solutions. So, Chris, this is the part of the show where we find, if I can find it, but this is the part of the show where we find solutions. So, what are the solutions going forward?
This is the part of the show where we find solutions.
All right, Chris, solutions, man. What are the solutions moving forward in your line? Where are the solutions?
Well, I mean, first of all, when it comes to solutions, I mean, everything ain't gonna work for everybody. I feel like the fact that the options is the solution. I'll say that again. The option is the solution. To be able to understand that you don't have to put up with this, to be able to understand that as a black man, you don't have to deal with women who demonstrate these types of behaviors. Now, I am not saying you can't deal with black women, period. I'm not one of those brothers. I don't have that type of energy about black women, all. But I am saying that the overall narrative that it gets pushed to in your so-called culture that tells you have to be a trapper, you got to be a rapper, you got to be a dope boy, you got to be all these things in order to get respect from these women is in some ways true to some in some regards. But what I'm saying is you don't have to live up to that standard. You don't have to tie yourself to say, oh, I got to have these women. This is why you value yourself first. This is why you tell brothers that you go after your purpose, right? You go after your purpose, you become the greatest version of yourself. And the women that are there for you are the ones who see you grow, the ones that are around when you are in chase of destiny. The ones that are around will be the ones that you will be choosing from, period, like that. So like she's talking about, you know, making moves in South Africa. I'm telling you, I've heard big reports about South Africa is a place where brothers can go and most definitely build. And you know, when my time comes, when it comes time for me to get back out there and start making moves, I'm definitely planning on heading out to Johannesburg and stuff like that. I do want to check it out. I want to see what's going on out there. And I heard that there's good opportunities for real estate and all kind of stuff. So, you know, looking into that and then having a platform in South Africa, and then everybody knows the formula right now is being able to have these type of talks with the women you're talking about. That's the formula. Obviously, going to South Africa and then having South African women there, or whatever country I go to, you know, or hell, all countries, whatever. But my point is that the solution is understanding your value and then understanding the option that you can travel and that you don't have to deal with this nonsense and this foolery.
Sweet Lulu being dear, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? And where do we go from here? I mean, because men are getting frustrated. So where do we go from here?
You are the solution, Kosha. Chris is the solution. This platform is the solution. It just has to grow. You don't have to justify yourself to these women. You don't have to. You have everything that it takes to succeed. And I mean, it's like he said, it's business. You don't want my product? Fine. I'll go find a market that does, and the market
Right.
that wants you as Black American men, just before you open your mouth, so just for simply existing, for being American, for being Black, for what you come with, for what you represent to the Black diaspora. Africa has the what America, Black America, has represented in terms of culture all over the world cannot be denied. The indelible mark that America's Black children have made, you know. So no, you are the solution. This is the solution, and look at how big, rest in power, Kevin Samuels was, and it just needs to get bigger. So just keep picking up that mantle. You had 2 million people, I think, it's on stage listening to him, and you know, there's still voices out there. The message is needed. They were listening because there was a truth. It's keep speaking the truth, travel, and like Chris and you are saying, do not lower your standards. You do not have to.
Don't have to, right? And there's more women on the planet than men, and for a single man like Chris, and you know other men that are single, the chances of them getting a high quality woman is great if they know what their
Hey,
worth is.
women, Chris, who says you have to have one?
Yes.
Guys,
South
seriously,
African wives, yeah.
who says you have to have one? It's
I'm just saying.
Tory got into trouble because he was exercising his options,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
He's
he
carrying his options with him. That's his problem.
exactly, he was exercising his options, and Kevin didn't understand that he's a man, and she thought that she could neuter him and cut off his proverbial what.
Exactly.
And that's what that's and that's Megan, that's women here deciding that you know you will be what I want you to be to me.
Facts.
And
Right.
Corey, like how Chris said, as short as he is, that didn't matter. Corey has shown you that that you don't have to have a big this, you don't have to be this high. He's shown you that be a man, be about your purpose.
Hmm.
That's all.
Yeah, I totally agree. Shout out to my man Byro Hammer TV for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, Byro Hammer TV. Said no system is a closer permission of to decipher the intricacies of female nature. May you continue to flourish. Best wishes. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. I'm Byro Hammer TV. Barry Hamilton, you always showing love. Good brothers, man. Good loyal brothers, man. I really appreciate it. Chris, we're gonna sign off, man. It's been a great show. I really appreciate Lulu Bean. Thank you, dear. Feels like yesterday. With you coming in and giving your impartation of knowledge, and always having a abiding love for the brotherhood. Blessings to you, your family, your husband, and those sisters like yourself that understand the importance of men and understand the importance of men in protection and also mental wellness. We're living in a time, Chris, where up is down, down is up, and the lines are becoming more and more blurred as we get older. Yeah, God help us. That's all I can say, man, because I've never seen the level of cognitive dissonance that I'm seeing now. And like you said, Chris, we're not saying that world travel is a guarantee that you won't deal with dysfunctional women. But what we're saying is that you got a better chance of finding traditional women abroad, mostly from the countryside, and most of them women that know the importance of having men in their lives. And like you said, men don't lead with their wallets and they'll go in those ecosystems and oversimplify things, pun intended, no pun intended, then things won't be the way it needs to be. So we're going to sign off. Chris, I appreciate you chiming in, brother. Sweet Lulu Bean, thank you again, sis. And to all the brothers and sisters that were listening on tonight, we're going to sign off. So, guys, y'all get y'all some rest. And Chris, I'll be checking in with you, man. And at some point, man, I might even call you after this, man. We'll chop it up for about a minute or two.
Yeah,
But
man.
guys,
You can hit me up, bro.
all right, all right. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna drop you down, Chris. Hold tight. But anyway, guys, like I said, man, thank you guys for tuning in. I wish your numbers we had more numbers, but I guess you guys are getting ready for tomorrow. And now, guys, we're about to sign off. About to sign off in a minute, guys. So as I told you guys, there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized man. And part of the conversation on tonight was, can you turn a hoe into a housewife? I don't think you can. What say you? So guys, signing off. Enjoy your night. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Be well.
It's not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Nah, I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. I knew you lost your mind when you dropped that bomb. Girl, are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lying like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's you. What did you think? What?
Have you been distressed or perplexed? Emasculated. A book written by Edward Fields IV. Everything that needs to be known about men in modern time. Listen, men are not complex. They are misunderstood and unappreciated. Learn what men really feel, think, and desire. Also observe their struggle for acceptance, love, and belonging. A must read for every man in this classic book by Edward Fields IV. Emasculated. Go get your copy now.